Welcome to a new video where things are a little different, as you probably noticed. I'm alongside PowerPoint rather than inside a car, but let's forge ahead rather than talking about that. Right, today I'm talking about cars you would regret selling, which were usually dirt cheap, and are unaware in a few years' time they would break the bank. A little extra is about a car you should buy, as it increases in value in a few years' time, and you shouldn't sell it either. Let's continue talking about the VW Campervan. It may not be fast, but it's clearly desirable. As in just 22 years, 2 million were sold. You may think that the VW Campervan is dead, but it isn't actually. It is named under the VW California, where it was most popular, in fact, during the 60s. So, why are they so expensive, I hear you ask? Well, they were so cheap a few decades ago, you could buy one for £400. So, people didn't really maintain them properly, so they were often scrapped. So, if you are one of those people, you are probably regretting you didn't maintain your van. As today, if you're lucky, you can get one. You can get six-figure money for that. Next car is not a van, it's the Mark I Ford Focus RS. Like the camper, it was fast, even by today's standard. 0 to 60 took 6.4 seconds, quite a bit faster than a 4.2 litre V8 Audi S6, not an ordinary A6. From the same period. This is thanks to its weight, which was 1,175 kilograms, which gives it some great power to weight ratio. It's also quite a fair bit of power. But it isn't the power emphasis, the way it deals with this power. Unlike the GRS, which is all the rage at the moment, as you've probably heard, it was designed for rallying, and to compete in rallying, a road-going version must be made too. This is highly expensive, as a lot of engineering and pricey parts are used, meaning Ford lost every money for the sake of us. And so did Toyota. A Mark II was made, but it didn't impress with the styling and handling. It was more like an AMG, and devoured corners. You like an AMG. Most of the cars were written off and were driven hard. So it's quite difficult to find one. There's only just over 1,000 left. The next car is a much newer. It's the BMW 1M, and buying one of these cars could be your business back in 2011. As unlike most big Beamers and other cars, it doesn't depreciate. It went up in value every year. An M6 would cost you around £100,000 new, and in 3 years it would lose more than 50% of its value. So if you sold your car from an early age, you're probably regretting it now. However, it is all well me saying that it's good at holding its value, because do you really want to buy it? Well, that's definitely yes. It's a little pocket rocket, and with its straight six churning out 335 brake horsepower to the rear wheels, your home would probably be an empty car park, where you can do some easy and controlled drifting. But what happens if you go over the age of 30? Well, you may expect, when a car based on a small family car, it would be very Spartan and very cheap, very uncomfortable. But everything is suede, leather and soft touch plastic, like most BMWs these days. And how about those seats? Well, they may be lightweight, but they're so supportive, as they are bucket seats, but more than normal, in fact. The only complaint is that they don't make anymore. But that is no problem now, as there is a new M2, which is, in my honest opinion, the best car ever made. And someone like Jeremy Clarkson would agree by saying it's also the best M car ever made. My final car is the original Mini. British Leyland is well known for making the worst cars ever. and I'd agree too. But the engineers were found at last, the good ones, and they were in their prime. It was loved by everybody, people who were ordinary, celebrities, and even racing drivers who found them a riot. This meant that 5.5 million were sold. Yoss and Allegro wouldn't be the symbol of Britain, but an Austin Mini would, as would a Jaguar E-Type. They're very similar with their how they affected Britain. The reason was their character was exceptional. Car makers today can't match it. So why was it so fun? Well, I'm going to use the Range Rover again. I've done it a lot, in fact. The Mini was 3 metres long. The Range Rover is 5 metres. The width of the Mini was 1.4 metres. The Range Rover would be 2.1 metres. And most importantly, the Mini weighed 587 kilos, almost half a tonne, compared to 3,160 kilograms. That's over 3.1 tonnes for the Range Rover. Surprisingly, this dinkiness didn't affect the boot space, and neither did it affect the passenger space either. Sure, it isn't as impressive as a Range Rover, nor as comfortable, but that was pretty good for a car of that size. And all this bundle of fun cost a few £100, which means that, like the VW Campervan, quite a few were scrapped due to poor maintenance and rusting. Subsequently, this means that an original, a really old one from 1950, could cost you 30k, but if you hunt hard, you can actually find a 90s one for around £1,000. Next bit is an excerpt which I was talking about at the beginning, about the car which you should hang on to or buy. The Mazda MX-5 is a dream sales success, the most popular roadster and even convertible, making the mass-produced car seem unique and special. However, this success does mean it's not very rare, and this means it doesn't increase in value. On the other hand, the Toyota MR2 is. The ingredients are correct: rear-wheel drive and an engine in the middle like a supercar. It weighed 975 kilos, a lot less than a supercar, and with almost 150 horsepower, it was a very fun car, more fun than a supercar in fact. If you're prepared to pay more, a Mark II is already increasing in value. You can get one for just over £2,000, or just under if you're lucky. But the best is the Mark III. It may not be gaining value now, but in a few years' time it will. It's got a better engine, more powerful, and a better interior too. And it could be yours for just over £1,000. That's the end for this video. Tell me in the comments if you would like me to do more of these or more articles.